Hey Film Boss, welcome back to Film Feature 43. Today we're going to do another 43 Facts video, but since I haven't put out a video in a while, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of focusing on just one movie, I wanted to focus on the beginning of a filmography of one of my favorite actors, that being Adam Sandler. So if there's an actor you want me to cover, let me know down below. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the facts. The first movie that I want to talk about on this list is the movie Airheads. It came out in 1994. Airheads was supposedly based on a true story of a Colorado man who drove to a radio station and forced the radio host to play The Smiths for 4 hours until the police came and arrested him. That's actually not true. There was a gentleman in Colorado who drove to the radio station with 7 cassettes of The Smiths and a rifle, but he lost his nerve when he got to the radio station, and he called the police on himself and was arrested in the parking lot. The building where Airheads was filmed is located in Fox Plaza in Los Angeles, which shares a parking lot with a skyscraper that was used as the Nakatomi building in the best movie of all time, Die Hard, which is actually parodied in Airheads. The next big movie that Adam Sandler had was Billy Madison, that had a cameo from one of my other favorite actors, Chris Farley. Chris Farley, before every scene, would chug cups of espresso to bring up his manic energy, which he did for a lot of his film roles.
Sir, do you realize that you are not drinking regular coffee, but Colombian decaffeinated coffee crystals?
What?
And speaking of scenes enhanced by drinking, Norm Macdonald was actually drunk while filming the pool scene for Billy Madison.
What's today? October?
Also in the realm of method acting, during the dodgeball scenes in Billy Madison, Adam Sandler would actually throw the dodgeballs as hard as he could to hit the children, and the director had the cameraman cut away because the kids would start crying.
Now you're all in big trouble.
And when Billy Madison calls to Danny McGrath to apologize for being mean to him in high school, the people to kill list can be seen, and there are 8 other names on that list. Those 8 other names are actually cast and crew members who worked on Billy Madison. And right before Danny shows up to save the day, we get the famous insult that
everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
And at Saturday Night Live, Jim Downey would actually say that to Chris Farley whenever Chris would pitch a sketch. And speaking of Farley again, Tommy Boy was originally supposed to be called Billy the Third, a Midwestern, but since it was shot right after Billy Madison, it was only going to be released a few months after. Lorne Michaels, who was the producer of Tommy Boy, insisted that the name be changed to avoid confusion with Billy Madison. Philip Seymour Hoffman actually auditioned for the role, and he was offered the role, and Adam Sandler was really excited, but then he decided to turn it down, so Adam called him specifically asking him why he turned down the role.
Answer me!
And Philip said, I just don't feel like doing it. And because of the movie Billy Madison, we actually got a great antagonist in Adam Sandler's next movie, Happy Gilmore. Christopher McDonald turned down the role of Shooter McGavin multiple times because he didn't want to be typecasted as an antagonist, but after seeing Billy Madison, he was convinced that he wanted to work with Adam Sandler, so he decided to take the role as Shooter McGavin. And later, McDonald actually said it's one of the best decisions of his life. Bob Barker wasn't sure he wanted to actually cameo in Happy Gilmore, but after being told that he would win the fight against Adam Sandler, he decided he wanted to take the role. And when Dennis Dugan told him that he was going to have a stunt double, Bob Barker said, no, I'm not. I know how to fight. So he did the scene by himself. In fact, Bob Barker did know how to fight. He was taught Tang Soo Do by Chuck Norris and Chuck Norris's brother Aaron. And because of Barker's involvement in Happy Gilmore, the ratings for Price is Right went up among college students significantly.
Bitch.
And during the scenes involving Richard Kiel, aka Mr. Larson, you can see Kiel leaning against things like a fence post or an actor or a cane, and that's because in 1992 he was in a car accident where he sustained head trauma, leading to him not being able to stand without aid. As of 2016, the announcer Vern Lundquist says that he still gets a monthly check of $34 from the Screen Actors Guild for starring in Happy Gilmore. And during the memorable mini golf scene, Adam Sandler is actually there twice. He is the voice of the clown that keeps antagonizing Gilmore.
You're gonna die, clown!
And Judd Apatow was brought in to do rewrites for Happy Gilmore, uncredited, which is also true for Adam Sandler's next movie, The Wedding Singer. And Judd Apatow wasn't the only person brought in to do rewrites on The Wedding Singer. Princess Leia herself, Carrie Fisher, was brought in to give some depth to the female characters. And Robbie tells Linda to
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
This is a reference to the fact that The Wedding Singer is supposed to take place in 1985, which is the year that David Lee Roth left Van Halen. Another reference to this being the 1980s is the photographer Faye says that Robbie and Julia are going to last as long as
Donald and Ivana and Woody and Mia and Bert and Lonnie.
This is a reference to Donald Trump and his wife Ivana, Woody Allen and Mia Farrow, and Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson. And this is poking fun at the fact that the Trumps and the Reynolds-Andersons marriage ended bitterly in the 1990s, and Allen and Farrow were never actually married. This is one of two movies that came out in 1998 starring Adam Sandler. The other one was Waterboy. Wedding Singer was actually supposed to come out in 1997, but since it was a romantic comedy, the producers decided that they wanted it to come out around Valentine's Day, so it was released a little bit late. So let's talk about that other 1998 classic, Waterboy. The Mud Dog Stadium is actually the DeLand High School Stadium in DeLand, Florida, and producers got the green light to film there if they agreed to refurbish the stadium after they were done filming. Kathy Bates agreed to be in The Waterboy at the behest of her niece, who loves Adam Sandler.
I was in my bed and I read the first 12 pages and I thought, oh, this is a piece of shit. And my niece who works for me, she came in and she says, what is this? I said, some stupid script they sent me. And she pulled it out and she said, Adam Sandler! So she made me do the movie.
And Henry Winkler called up Adam after he was used in Adam's song, the Hanukkah song.
Guess who eats together at the Carnegie Deli? Bowser from Shanana and Arthur Fonzarelli.
And he was very excited to be in a movie with Adam Sandler, so Sandler pitched him the idea of Waterboy, which Winkler signed to immediately.
It is still, people talk to me about that movie
98
as if it was just released.
There were two mules that were actually used in the filming of Waterboy, one named Steve and one named Billy. Steve was used for all the on-camera stuff.
Well, I'm sitting here all day with nobody to keep me company. Is that Steve?
But refused to bray excitedly like you hear in the movie, so Billy's voice was used as Steve was doing all the acting. Frank Carossi, who's the director of Waterboy, also plays the role of Bobby Boucher's dad.
Your daddy, Roberto.
Daddy?
But Carossi's actually only 7 months older than Sandler. And surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly to some of you, Waterboy is the highest grossing sports comedy of all time, which may have been bolstered by the fact that when it was released with a trailer for The Phantom Menace. So a lot of people who were Star Wars fans that were not Sandler fans will go and pay full price for a ticket to see the trailer for Phantom Menace because there was no such thing as YouTube, and then they would just walk out. So that boosted ticket sales a little bit. Susan Lloyd Hayes, who's the granddaughter of Harold Lloyd, who was a silent film star, sued Disney in 2000 for saying that Waterboy infiltrated on the copyright of her grandfather's film The Freshman that came out in the 1920s, and in 2002 the courts ruled against her, saying that there was no copyright infringement. And Waterboy's success led to Adam Sandler's next movie, Big Daddy, getting a bigger budget. In Big Daddy, you can hear Adam Sandler as a voice cameo as a skater who falls over the stick that Julian throws in the road. And Cole and Dylan Sprouse, Zach and Cody themselves, who played Julian, lost a bunch of teeth while filming Big Daddy, so they had to have prosthetics put in to keep continuity, and Dylan actually lost one of his teeth while filming one of the scenes for Big Daddy. Adam Sandler met his wife Jackie while filming Big Daddy. She was the waitress that brought Julian his root beer, and that began the tradition of her being in most of Adam Sandler's movies. Making over $163 million domestically, Big Daddy became Adam Sandler's highest earning film, which was surpassed by Hotel Transylvania 2 in the year 2015, but it is still one of Adam Sandler's highest grossing domestic live-action films. Next starring vehicle for Adam Sandler was 2000's Little Nicky, and Adam Sandler's beloved dog, who was the best man at his wedding and wore tux and yarmulke. Meatball was the offspring of Little Nicky's Mr. Beefy.
Night-night. Get some sleep thing, Mr. Beefy.
Carl Weathers reprised his role as Chubbs in an uncredited cameo for Little Nicky.
Chubbs used to be a golf pro, but up here he's just the dopest dance instructor.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
and Dana Carvey actually broke his ankle while filming the Harlem Globetrotter scene. And speaking of reprised roles and broken appendages, let's talk about the 2002 film Mr. Deeds. Winona Ryder actually broke her arm while filming the bike scene that goes down the steps, and Rob Schneider, the delivery driver, reprised his role from Big Daddy, which came out 3 years earlier.
Holy shit, it's a cat!
And while filming the scene where Deeds beats up Marty, Alan Covert, who played Marty, actually fell on some ice and hit his head, knocking himself unconscious for a couple minutes. And the last movie I'm going to talk about in this video for this part of Adam Sandler's filmography is 2002's Anger Management. In the scene in Anger Management where Buddy picks up a golf club before picking up a baseball bat to smash out the window of the Lexus, the golf club is actually a nod to a 1994 incident where real-life actor Jack Nicholson took a golf club and smashed somebody's windshield in a fit of road rage. Adam Sandler donated copies of Anger Management before it was released to the general public to soldiers that were taking part in Operation Iraqi Freedom that had an extended 5 minutes in the beginning, thanking them for their service. And New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has the line, "You can do it, David!" which is often used in Adam Sandler films, spoken by normally Rob Schneider.
You can do it!
And the reason I brought this fact in is because I wanted to play this clip.
Thank you, Mayor Giuliani. You're the man, by the way.
Which may or may not have aged well, depending on how you feel about Rudy Giuliani. So that's all the facts I have about the movies at the beginning of Adam Sandler's career. If you want to see another actor, let me know down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.